everyone. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for making now time to join this session. Please, can we unmute ourselves to speak so I can be sure that I'm not speaking to myself? Just say something. Oh, thank you so much, Esther. Good afternoon. All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, from wherever it is you're joining us from. My name is Blessing Dauda, and I am the Community Associate at Opolo Collective, and I'm just going to be giving us a short presentation before we dive into the matter of the day, before we dive into today's Masterclass. So today's Masterclass is on IP strategies for scaling across borders, and we have with us here in person of Olaronke Famuyiwa. She's the program officer at WIPO, Nigeria office. But before we go right into it, I'll be speaking a bit about what we do at Opolo Global. A minute, please. All right, so at Opolo Global, we are essentially an innovation platform that enables innovators, startups, and corporate organizations to build and scale high growth ventures across Africa's markets. And we have, we do this across platforms. Our platforms include infrastructure, corporate innovations, venture support, investment access, and ecosystem development. We help innovators to turn ideas into impact. We help startups to grow and scale, as well as we also help corporate organizations unlock new level of growth. And we have over 10, we have 10 innovation hubs across different states in Nigeria. And also we have the Opolo Collective. The Opolo Collective is an invite-only community for founders, mentors, and operators in the ecosystem. It's a space where we share support for founders, we share resources, we host masterclass events like this. We're primarily focused on helping founders to not just build, but to thrive in the ecosystem. We're more like a support system for early stage founders, even as well as second stage, or basically, we're just helping founders grow and to thrive in the ecosystem, just like a support system. And we have an invite to join the community, but it's strictly for founders and anyone actually building in the ecosystem. So moving on for today, we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have Olaronke Famuyiwa. She's the program officer at WIPO Nigerian office, and Olaronke is a program officer at WIPO. She oversees and manages key projects and initiatives across Nigeria with a primary focus on raising awareness, conducting training, and building capacity in the field of intellectual property. Before joining WIPO, Olaronke has served as the head of TRIPS/rules at the Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations, where she leads in negotiations on intellectual property and competition policy. She has also gained international experience as a young professional and graduate intern at World Trade Organization. Amazing, wow. Olaronke holds a degree in international trade and investment law from the University of Pretoria, South Africa, and also a degree from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, and she's also a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. So without wasting much of our time, please help me with virtual claps, please, everyone. Help me welcome Olaronke Famuyiwa to the floor as she engages us and teaches us on IP strategies for scaling across border. Thank you very much, everyone. Olaronke, over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Blessing. Thank you for the warm welcome. And congratulations on the great work you are doing at Opolo, or is it Opolo? Just correct me if my pronunciation is wrong. Congratulations on the great work you guys are doing. It's a privilege, and we are very happy to be with you today to talk about intellectual property to the startups you already work with. And now I'm going to try and share my screen. I don't know if I can be granted the permission to share my screen. If not, it's okay also. I can present. I have my presentation here. I think I'm not sure how many startups do we have online right now to understand if you can just do like a short introduction, maybe like just getting to know each other more. Like I can get a sense of which of sector you're working on, what aspect of tech or what kind of business you're building. And it also helps me to guide the way I lecture or discuss. So if you can do like a very short introduction, this is 3:30, maybe like 2 minutes. You can just say your name, what your startup is about, and then I will start my presentation.
Or I think we have Emmanuel Adinakun here. Emmanuel, you can go ahead to
Okay.
introduce yourself.
And if Blessing or
Emmanuel.
Joba, if you can do the introduction for them, it's okay. I just really want to get a sense of which field they are all into. So, I mean, if they don't want to take the floor, it's also okay. If you,
Blessing, you want to just go ahead to explain?
okay, please.
Okay. So the few startups that we have here, the ones that I can see, we have Emmanuel, we have Ezekiel. I don't know who this person is. So Emmanuel is currently building an email marketing platform similar to what we know for MailChimp. And then for
Okay,
Ezekiel, I really cannot remember at the moment because Ezekiel,
okay.
do you mind saying something about what you're currently building? I can remember for Okay,
Um,
I can remember
uh,
for Emmanuel because we spoke recently. Yeah. Okay, is
okay.
it going to say
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes, I can.
Yeah. So, I'm currently building an e-commerce platform basically for Nigerian manufacturers. So the goal is to help Nigerian manufacturers build products and brands, more like attaching brands to products and products to brands. Sorry, so that's to help like Nigerian makers also have that name and skill from there.
Okay, okay, thank you. Anyone else interested in just a very short summary of what you do? Okay, it's fine if we have just two people who are interested, but I'm going to just start with the idea that everyone is a startup founder on the group, on the call right now. So first, can I share my screen, Blessing?
Yes, yes, you can.
I can now. Okay. Um, so what do you see?
Okay. I'm seeing your slides, intellectual property strategies for
Okay.
scaling up products.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start now. And today, when we got the call from Opolo, and what we were told is that we have a group of startup founders who are interested in learning about intellectual property, and now they can use that to scale their businesses across borders. So how can you use intellectual property for market expansion, for growth, for financing? And that's what we'll be talking about today. And on my part, I'll start my presentation with an introduction to WIPO. So from Blessing's introduction, she had said, I am a program officer at WIPO. So I'm going to talk about WIPO, what do we do at WIPO and what is WIPO all about. And then I'm going to give an overview of intellectual property, the common forms of IP and the relevance of IP to innovators and startup founders like you in this meeting, and some strategies that we've seen that works for some businesses in scaling across border, and then WIPO tools and resources. So about WIPO, what is WIPO? WIPO is a short form for the World Intellectual Property Organization, and we are the Global Forum for Intellectual Property Administration. So WIPO is also a United Nations specialized agency. A lot of people do not know that, but WIPO is one of the United Nations agency, and our main mission is to lead the development of a balanced and effective international IP systems that enables innovators like you and creators to benefit for the benefit of all. So what we do at WIPO mainly is to say for creators, for innovators, how can we create a system that benefits you, that promotes your businesses, and also at the same time benefit us, the users of your IP. So at WIPO, would usually say that we envision a world where innovation and creativity from anywhere in the world, from anyone, is supported by intellectual property. That is, anyone, anywhere, in rural communities, in modernized cities, they are all protecting their intellectual property or their creativity. So WIPO was established in 1967, and we currently have 193 member states. These member states are member states of the United Nations. So because we are also a United Nations agency, we automatically have the 193 member states. And for now, we have 26 intellectual property treaties that we administer. We have about 1,300 staff from over 120 countries, and our headquarters is situated in Geneva. So this is a map of what WIPO looks like. We have our headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, and we have 7 other external offices around the world. We have an office in Russia, New York, China, Japan, Singapore, Brazil, Algeria, and of course in Nigeria. So Nigeria office is located within the United Nations in Abuja, and it is the only office we have in the whole of the sub-Saharan Africa. The Nigeria office is very new. It's a baby organization. It was just established 5 years ago, January 2020. And what we do mainly in Nigeria as an external office is what we are doing today. We continuously promote awareness raising and training and capacity building in the field of IP across all sectors. So we are constantly bridging the gap in IP education in Nigeria. And that's what we do at the WIPO Nigeria office. If you are ever in the United Nations building in Abuja, our office is on the ground floor. You can always pop by in to say hello if you have questions or you have any inquiries. So what is intellectual property? Please, as I proceed, if you have questions, please feel free to stop me. If you have questions, if you don't want to stop me, you can drop your questions in the comments section, and then I'll take them after the presentation. So what is intellectual property about? Why have we come here? At WIPO, we say intellectual property refers to the creation of the mind. What have your mind be able to create? And it's as simple as your startups. I mean, some of your startups are something you sat down and created. It's an idea before you started processing it, and then you brought it to life by bringing things together. So we usually would say intellectual property refers to the creation of the mind, such as your inventions, your literary or artistic work, your designs, your symbols, names, and images, whatever you've been able to create from your mind that belongs to you. That is your intellectual property. So it's just an opposite of tangible properties. For some of us in this room, for some of you, you have maybe landed properties in Lagos, in Abuja, wherever you are based. Those are like tangible properties that you can see and touch. But intellectual property are those intangible properties that cannot be seen, or, I mean, that is not like, oh, you can't say, I want to sell my land. Those are intangibles. But the intangible properties, the creation of your mind that you've been able to bring to life, those are your intellectual property. And the purpose of having intellectual property regulated worldwide is to safeguard the interests of creators. Why are we protecting your ideas? Why are we protecting your inventions and your innovations? It's mainly because we want to safeguard your interests as a creator and as a producer of intellectual property goods. Because when you go through the stress of creating a brilliant idea, you go through the stress of creating a very mind-blowing innovation, you deserve to make money from it. You deserve to be recognized for it. You deserve to be seen as the producer or innovator of this invention. And this is why intellectual property is being safeguarded and protected, not just at WIPO, but of course in other agencies. Of course, intellectual property protection is time limited, but it's important that within those time frame, you are protected and you can make your money. So the purpose also, another reason why intellectual property is being talked about is to strike a balance between the interests of innovators and the wider public. And what do we mean by this? Because once you've produced something, And then us, we are the users. Whatever your startup is doing, we are the users, to strike a balance between protecting your innovation and ensuring that innovation keeps growing, especially in instances of patent protection. It is why also we talk about intellectual property protection a lot. And like I said, intellectual property protection helps you to earn recognition, financial benefits. You deserve to be praised for what you have done. There are different types of intellectual property forms, so it's not a one-way street. You have created an invention, you've started your startups, you've been able to create like something no one has done before, or you've started a business that is, we have two businesses that said e-commerce platform from Nigeria. You've started great things like that, but what are the different types of intellectual property that we can bring out from that invention or from that business or from that startups you're starting? And that is why we have these common forms of intellectual property. So we have trademarks, which is usually the easiest, most talked about, very what everyone first gets when they think about intellectual property. We also have the patents, which is also second, usually most common. We have the copyrights, which is a common form of intellectual property. We have trade secrets, we have geographical indications, we have industrial designs, we have plant variety protection, and we have traditional knowledge. And these are all the common forms of intellectual property that we have currently. Of course, more forms may come up in the future, but these ones are the ones we've had and we've been using for maybe the longest time. But then again, the different types of intellectual property in your businesses, in your startups, you could find at least maybe one or two types of intellectual property, but also it's not all the forms of intellectual property that may be existing in your businesses. So I'm going to talk about the different types now. And as I'm speaking, we have Sharon, we have Ezekiel, Emmanuel, Benedicta, Alice. As I'm speaking to all the startup founders in the room, please kindly pay attention. If there's any of this form of IP you notice or you think you might have in your businesses or in your startup, please, you can just jot it down or note it down so that at the end of it, we can just discuss this better. So now I'm going to start with the simplest that we all love, trademarks. What are trademarks? What is a trademark? One of the formal forms of IP. Trademarks refer to a sign or combinations of signs, letters, words, sounds, or designs that are capable of distinguishing goods or services of one undertaking from those of the other in the markets. In simple terms, it means a mark, a sign, a letter, a color, sound that distinguishes your own business, your own startups from the other startups in the market. For instance, for the person, I think someone dropped a comment now about what they do. Let me check quickly. Oh, I can't see it. For instance, the person who is into the e-commerce business, what is it in your business that distinguishes you from other e-commerce businesses? Okay, someone said they are building a digital platform. How can I protect my IP globally since the products are online? Okay, I'll come to that later. So what distinguishes you from other e-commerce businesses? This is where trademark comes in. And from the logos that we've put online, there's the Apple logo, the Lexus logo, Toyota logo. These are common trademarks that we are very used to. When we see the L sign, we know it's the Lexus. When you see this, you know it is a Toyota. Over time, you don't even need them to write the name anymore because you're so used to the logo that you know that this belongs to them. So I have an Apple phone here, and at the back of it, there's this half-eaten apple. We all know that automatically that's an Apple product. But so trademarks are usually protected for an initial term of 7 years. So if you register your trademark today with the Nigerian Trademarks Registry, you're protected for 7 years, and then you can then renew subsequently for every 14 years forever. So trademarks doesn't have a limit. Once you start using your logo that represents your business or a brand name that represents your business, you really can protect that forever. Okay. So for trademarks to continue, use is very important. If you notice that, I don't know if anyone has registered your trademarks among the startups present, but when you want to register your trademarks, one of the questions they ask from you is, are you do you intend to use your trademarks, or are you already using your trademarks? It's because that is very important. So if you have a logo that you're not using, like your business is not, maybe you're not transacting yet, or you're not doing business yet, and your logo is just dormant for a while, that may be a problem. So use is very important to a trademark, because you must be known for this mark. It means that wherever you go and I say that Ezekiel's trademark, this is what it looks like. Ezekiel uses this mark to distinguish himself. And that is very important. To register your trademark in Nigeria, you can go through the registry, to trademarks registry in Abuja, or anywhere that they have a state office. And it's a very simple and straightforward process. Another key point that we need to know about trademarks and every other forms of intellectual property is the territoriality of it. So, and this is why we are talking today about how to scale abroad. If you register your trademarks or any form of IP whatsoever in Nigeria, you are only protected in Nigeria. So if you wake up tomorrow and you decide to do, maybe you've started your e-commerce platform and you decide to scale abroad, and someone maybe you scale to the American market or the UK market, or you are online and you're everywhere, people can see you. If you're not protected in America, an American business owner can decide to steal your exact idea, your exact logo, and start trading with that, because you're not protected in that country. So once you're protected in Nigeria, you're only protected in Nigeria. For you to do business in Ghana, in Namibia, you have to also protect your intellectual property in Ghana and in Namibia. That is one of the principles of intellectual property. And of course, the next form of IP, which is the patent, these are exclusive rights that allows you to prevent or stop others from commercially exploiting your patented invention. So an invention is a product or a process that provides, in general, a new way of doing something or offer a new technical solution to a problem. So before you can decide to register for a trademark, there are some key requirements that are important that must be seen. And first is novelty. Is this a new way of doing something? So for instance, the e-commerce platform that one of us is building, I think that is Emmanuel, the e-commerce platform that Emmanuel is building, is there a process? Is there something he is doing in that e-commerce platform? Is there a process that is so new that no one has ever done before? That can qualify for a patent protection. Or amongst us today, the startups present, is any of us creating a product that no one has ever seen before? That can also qualify for a product. So if you offer a new technical solution to a problem, you identify a problem in your community, you're providing a startup or you're creating a startup to solve that problem. No one has ever created that. Then you qualify for a patent. So key requirements for patent protection are novelty, it must be new. It must be an inventive step and non-obvious. You can't tell me that, oh, when you plant corn in the soil, it grows as corn. Oh, that's new. It must be like that's obvious to anyone. It must be something that's naturally not obvious to the sense. For instance, when the first person who created a car, before then, we probably were taking a walk from Sokoto to Kaduna, but suddenly someone said, let's create a bicycle. Or maybe the camel. Then they started going by camel. Then someone created a bicycle. Then someone created a car. Then someone created a plane. And then innovation keeps increasing like that. If someone woke up tomorrow and created something that makes you disappear from Nigeria office to Geneva office, that's not, maybe we can't call that. Maybe if you create something like that no one has ever done before, then you can qualify for maybe like patent protection. But the problem, not a problem, but there's a limitation to a patent protection. The patent is limited for a period of time. So you have exclusive rights to benefit from your patent protection for 20 years. And after 20 years, whatever it is, whatever the steps, the process that are so new that no one had ever seen before, it goes into the public domain and people can then start using it or start producing on it to make it better. And again, like I said, like all IP form is very territorial. If you create a product with your startup today that no one has ever created before, that is so unique, a process that is so unique that makes e-commerce blow mind-blowingly. If you're only protected in Nigeria, you can't you are not protected in the UK. Someone from US or UK can take your idea and just use it because your protection is only limited to Nigeria. And to register a patent in Nigeria, you go to the Patent and Design Registry in the Federal Ministry of Industry and Investment. For copyright is Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, rather. Copyright is very straightforward. We all know what that is. You write a book, you produce a music, you produce a song, you are protected by copyright. For some of the startups that are with us, some technological based work, such as your computer programs, the database, your coding, there's some codes that you put together to create like the platform you are doing, to create the solutions you're working on. Those also can be protected using copyright. And but this is very straightforward, and the key requirements to copyright protection is originality. Did you write the code yourself, or did you use ChatGPT to write half of the code? And then, I mean, originality is very important with copyright protection. And again, it's territorial. You're protected only where you are. To register copyrights, registration in Nigeria is not compulsory. Once you write a book, it's automatically protected by copyright. And I'm sure we all know that C symbol that we see in movies, in books, where they say copyright protection. That covers you. But some countries will say that register your copyright so that it's easy for you to enforce in court. But if you want to register in Nigeria, you can go to the Copyright Commission. Trade secrets are very straightforward. I'm going to move very fast now because our time is going. But trade secrets are sometimes what I call the opposite of the patent. So the patent is you come out to say, I've created an invention. It's so big, it's the best. And then you come out to tell the world, and then you receive protection for 20 years, and then you get your money in 20 years. Trade secret, on the other hand, is I've created something new. I've created something great, but I don't want anyone to know about it. I don't want anyone to know my recipe. I don't want anyone to know the codes I put together to make this e-commerce platform to reply to you so fast. I don't want anyone to put any code together. I just want to keep it to myself. That's trade secrets. You don't need to do anything. Just keep it in your mind. It's as simple as that. But it's a form of IP. And to qualify as a trade secret, the information must, of course, be commercially viable because it is a secret. Commercially viable, for instance, Coca-Cola. For today, it is known that it is obvious that no one knows what the recipe of Coca-Cola is. No one has been able to replicate it. But the recipe, is it commercially viable? Yes, they are making a lot of money from keeping that secret to themselves. And the secrets must be known to a limited group of persons. So you can't come to this kind of meeting and say, oh, the code I put together, I did that. Keep your secret to yourself, keep the ideas to yourself, and that makes it a safe secret. And of course, it must be subject to reasonable steps taken by the rightful holder of the information to keep it a secret. That is, you must use confidentiality agreements, you must use non-disclosure agreements. If you have an idea today that you think is worth keeping in your mind and that you think will make you the most money in the world, you must take obvious steps to keep this a secret. So if you're getting a lawyer, you must have a non-disclosure agreement. If you're getting partners, you must have non-disclosure agreements, and you must ensure that the secret is not spread around, maybe between you, your wife, your husband, whatever, or your lawyer at the most. Have these secrets to themselves. And what is industrial designs? Industrial designs are always are also some of the form of intellectual property, and it's just as simple as it is. Designs, it's as what your product looks like, especially for us who are very aesthetics. Like some of us like beautiful things. We like to see nice design. I know for sure that one of the reasons why a lot of people uses an iPhone over any other type of phone is because they say things like, it's so sleek. I like the curves. I like the slants. It's slants are there. Those are industrial designs. How sleek are they? How do you present your products? So this relates to the ornamental aspect of articles. May consist of 3-dimensional features or 2-dimensional features. So once you have a design that you have done, nobody can copy your design. I don't think there are any other phones, except maybe you find some in some countries, but in real sense of it, that has the same sleekness or same design as an iPhone, that is protected by intellectual property. So especially if you're into hardware, you can protect some of your products using industrial design. in most countries, you have to register your industrial designs because sometimes it's these industrial designs that bring you the most money because people love to see beautiful things. You will buy a Mercedes Benz, you will buy a Rolls Royce because of maybe how sleek they are. The designs of the Benz, the lights, the shape, these are industrial designs. And sometimes this is what brings you the most money. So registration is required in most countries. And in Nigeria, if you have an industrial design to register, you again go to the patent and design registries. And for the common forms of IP, these are the four that I think speak the most to what we do here as tech startups. There's GIs, there's plant varieties, there's traditional knowledge, but we don't really use that the kind of businesses we have here, I don't think we'll really use that. So why should you care about intellectual property as startup founders, as innovators? I think you should care about intellectual property because for us at WIPO, we did a survey, we did a research in 2021, and we wanted to know what the global values of intangibles are over the last 25 years. And we realized that people with IP registrations called together globally amounts to $74 trillion in 2021. That's almost 5 years ago, or more than almost 5 years ago. So you can imagine what the value is even now in 2025. And different global brands that we put together were valued at $12.5 trillion in 2021. And it was concluded that intangibles, that is the common forms of intellectual property protection, makes up more than 90% of the values of top 500 companies in the US stock exchange. And what does this mean? It means that when you see Nike brand. So Nike has a shop in the US. They pay for the store, but what is really generating
Yes,
money for
that's
them?
Olaronke's network. Can anybody hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I think it must be Blessing's network, so I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I was saying that in the US, for instance, there's a Nike store, there's an Adidas store, and they have a building where they put the shoes in. The building costs a fee, yes, because those are tangible properties, landed properties. But what really brings them the money is not the building, it's the products in the building. And what are the products? The shoes, the bags, the sportswears, the socks, the everything. But why do they sell so much of the product in the physical store? Because of the brand they've been able to build over time. Adidas has been able to brand itself with its logo. Adidas has been able to brand itself with its patent protection because there are some shoes that Adidas, Nike, some other shoes or bag companies make now that supports your knee, that supports your ankle. When you run, is more convenient. Those are patent inventions. So what brings them money is the inventions, the IP, the protection, the trademarks, the industrial designs, the way they design the shoes, the way they design the bag. That is what really brings money. This is why we're saying that intangibles are actually the money bringers, not the physical property. It is what is in the property that brings you the money. So this is why we think that innovators like you should care about intellectual property, because when you create your solution, it is how where you're able to leverage your brand. It's how where you're able to leverage the inventions you've created that sometimes at the end of the day brings the money. It's the solution that brings the money. And some other reasons why we think IP is relevant to innovation is, of course, protecting your innovation. You want to be protected. You want to be recognized as the person who started this e-commerce business that no one has ever thought about. You want to be recognized as the person who provide a solution to walking in the rain under an umbrella. I still think that walking in the rain under an umbrella is not effective. I mean, I'm covered from my head to my shoulders, but sometimes my leg is wet, my body is wet. Can there be a better solutions to rain? You could be the startup founders to do that. But why intellectual property is important is it protects you from thieves, from being exploited. So if you create that solution to rain, you are being protected from anyone else copying that solution. You are being protected from anyone else using that solution as their own. So for a period of 20 years, for trademarks for forever, for industrial design, 15 years, you are protected. You are making your money. No one else can produce that invention again because you have protected it. And of course, securing investment. For in most developed climates, one of the reasons why you get investment is first off, intellectual property protection. They want to be able to know that this idea belongs to you, this invention belongs to you, this brand belongs to you before I invest in your business. Because permit me, for instance, I invest in your business and you say, oh, my business name is Sharon the Great, and your Sharon the Great name is not protected, your trademark is not protected. Then I invest in your business, and then suddenly someone else comes and says, I am also Sharon the Great. Then there's conflicts of, of who is Sharon the Great, who owns this brand, who is the actual owner of this logo. And then investors are now in disarray. There's now disputes in court and all those back and forth. No investor wants that. So from the get-go, as you're thinking of your startup, as you're thinking of business, be thinking, how can I protect my Sharon the Great name? How can I protect Ezekiel as my business name? Whatever your business name are, how can I trademark it before someone else takes it and investors run away? So it's also a form of securing investment. Even in very developed climates, you use your intellectual properties to get financing in banks. You use them as collateral. You drop them in a bank and says, if I don't pay so back at so time, you can take my brand name, you can take my logo. That's how important intellectual property is to businesses and innovators like you. Of course, building brand recognition. I was saying the other time, a lot of people will pick an Apple phone over any other phone because of the brand. It has made so much name for itself that a lot of people will follow and pick an Adidas or Nike or New Balance shoe because of the brand. So over time, when you start building your business as an innovator, as a startup, what do you want to be seen as? How do you want people on the outside to see you? If you're starting a business, for instance, that is called Man from Space, what do you want Man from Space to be known for? What colors, what letters, what designs you want Man from Space to be known for? If you're creating a business in e-commerce, you're creating a business in clothing, now you're solving a climate solution, what do you want to known for? There are some businesses that when you go out, you see, for instance, I'm trying to see, if you see McDonald's, you know it's the red plus the the green and yellow plus the if you see maybe KFC, you know it's the guy with the glasses and the chicken. If you see, for instance, I'm trying to see popular brands in Nigeria. Food court, I think the food court is in Lagos. This food court has this white, red name sort of thing. It's really registers in you because you know that, oh, food court color is white and red, and their name is white and red. And trust me, food court, I suspect they must have protect that through trademark. So what do you want to be seen as? What do you want your business to be known as? And that is very important in growing your business. And of course, revenue generation through licensing and franchising. So when you have an intellectual property that you've protected, the moment you start scaling, maybe you start getting investors, your business is growing, you've scaled onto a certain part, and now you have your e-commerce business that is already serving Nigeria. If your intellectual property is protected in Nigeria, and let's say, for instance, in Ghana, you can then decide to say, okay, I'm going to license my brand. I'm going to license my brand to someone in Ghana, let them start doing the same business in Ghana so that I can be making a percentage of the money I'm making in Nigeria plus Ghana. For instance, a lot of the restaurants or the big businesses you see in Nigeria are licensing and franchising. So it's not like the owner of KFC decided to come to Nigeria to say, oh, I want to build a KFC. They sold the brand, they licensed the brand, they franchised the brand, and then they gave it to someone in Nigeria to say, okay, these are our standards, these are our procedures, do the same in Nigeria using our brand. But guess what? A lot of people will go to that business because the brand is already known. The brand is already global. So the difference between someone starting like a chicken company and a KFC is the brand. So if you want to scale your business, it's easier for you to maybe sometimes buy a brand that is already well known and start the same business. So the same applies to you. You started your e-commerce company, you started the email marketing company, you started a Man from Space company, and you've started growing. What you should start thinking about is, how can I grow to the point of licensing? How can I grow to the point of scaling abroad? And you want to scale to Ghana from Nigeria, you want to scale to Tanzania, you want to scale to South Africa. You don't need to go there physically yourself. if you are protected, if your IP is protected, it is so easy. All you need to do is license and then you scale. Of course, market expansion, it's very easy once you have business, once you are protected, you can then start entering two different markets the more you grow. But there are some challenges to market expansion. I mean, there are challenges even to IP registrations. And this, I will just mention a few. And one of these challenges that we've noticed in the course of our work is the difference in laws and languages. Difference in laws in the sense that the laws that are applicable in Nigeria sometimes will not be the laws that are applicable in Ghana. So what international organizations like WIPO and the WTO especially have done is to lay down the minimum standard of protection. So the TRIPS agreement is called the Trade Related Aspect of Intellectual Property Agreement. What that agreement has done is just to lay down minimum standard of protections that countries should follow. So for you, for intellectual, but they can say for patent protection, the least years you can give is 20 years. But if you like, you can do 30 years in your country. You can do 40 years. So that's what they do. So now you can realize that if you have a trademark or a patent in Nigeria, you're protected for 20 years. But then you go to China, then you're protected for 10 years. There are those differences in laws that are not the same everywhere. So if you want to expand your market, if you want to license, if you want to franchise, if you want to go into global stage, you have to know the laws that are applicable in the countries you want to expand to. If you want to expand from Nigeria to Ghana, you have to research what are the laws that are applicable in Ghana for trademark protection, for patent protections, and how do I fit my business into it? So this is one thing I want us to really bear in mind as we're all thinking of scaling and growing into other countries. What are the laws saying? So you don't think the same laws are applicable in Nigeria and then you just lose some money or something. Also, there are differences in languages. Like for instance, if you want to move your market, e-commerce is very big in China. So if maybe Emmanuel wants to move his e-commerce business and migrate and grow from Nigeria to China or Japan, the laws are different. And not only that, the language is different. Do you speak Chinese? Can someone Mandarin? Can someone interpret that for you? You have to also factor in what is the language, what are the laws, and do all of those research before you move into that country. And another one of the challenges we also see is filing and maintenance costs. Intellectual property can really be expensive, I must say, I must tell you. And intellectual property is expensive, but of course it is very rewarding. In some countries, the filing costs are varies. In Nigeria, it can be very affordable. In another country, it may not be as affordable as it is in Nigeria. Also, you have to pay maintenance costs. The fact that you've registered once doesn't mean you just go. You have to continually pay maintenance cost for your patent registration. For your trademark, you are renewing every 14 years. So it's a lot of, sometimes it's a lot of money. And of course, enforcement gaps in some countries. If you are wrongly, if someone has, for instance, wrongly stolen your idea in Nigeria, you have access to the Federal High Court. If someone stole your intellectual property that has been duly registered, you can take the person to the Federal High Court to start a case. There's also the arbitration and mediation options to take the person to court and get solution. But it's not the same in all countries. Some countries, the enforcement laws, the enforcement policies are not as strong as the other countries. So you also have to think when you want to expand into this business, like the enforcement in this country I want to go to, how good is it? If someone stole my intellectual property in this country, is it easily enforceable? If it's not easily enforceable, these are things to put in place in thinking global, in thinking expansion, so that you also save yourself some time. But what are some of the solutions to these challenges? That is where I see WIPO comes in. Protection abroad. So the challenges of language, laws, enforcement, filing. But how does WIPO, as a global United Nations specialized agency, has provided a solution to this kind of problem? And one of the, do you have a question? Okay, I think, okay. And one of the solutions we have provided is our global system. So we have a global system of registration of IP. And what that simply means is that when you register your intellectual property in Nigeria, when you're done registering in Nigeria, first off, you must register in Nigeria. When you're done registering in Nigeria, then you can start using the global system of WIPO registering in different countries. You don't have to go to that country. From the comfort of your own online, you can start registering in the United States, in America, in London, wherever you want to expand your business to. And we have 3 of those systems that are very functional, which is the first one is the Madrid system. For your trademarks, if you are registered, you can expand using the Madrid system to as many countries as you are. We currently have 131 countries who are part of these treaties. For your patent protection, you can also file using WIPO to be protected across board. And that one is called the Patent Cooperation Treaty. We call it the PCT system. We also have the Hague system, which is for your industrial design. So if you have a hardware or maybe a software product that you have a particular design that is unique, you can use the system to scale. But one of the challenges to this system at WIPO is that you can only use this system when your country is a member of it. So like I said, currently for the Madrid, it's just 131 countries. And Nigeria is not yet a member of the Madrid. Nigeria is a member of the PCT. So if you want to do patent protection across border, you can use the WIPO system for that. Nigeria is not yet a member of the Madrid. So for every trademark expansion you need, you must do country by country. You cannot use the WIPO system currently. So what are some of the strategies? I've mentioned some strategies along the way as I speak, and I hope that you've probably been able to identify 1 or 2 intellectual common forms of IP in your businesses. But some of the strategies that I would talk about now are strategies that I think that businesses have used to scale from our work with law firms, from our work with some businesses, been able to bring out these strategies. We don't use them because we are an international organization, but for you businesses, these are some of the strategies that we think may be able to help you. For patent protection, of course, like I said, because Nigeria is a member of the PCT, you can use the patent protection to register abroad. Once your business starts in Nigeria and you want to scale, you've protected it, you've been able to push your brand out there, you can start using, you can expand using the patent protection. Also, one thing you need to notice and note when you want to expand is you have to prioritize the market. Like I said at the beginning, IP is very expensive and the maintenance cost is high. So when you want to expand from Nigeria to other markets, you have to think to yourself, which markets can I prioritize? Which markets will benefit my type of business the most? You have e-commerce business, you have email marketing, you have maybe startups that is talking about insurance, healthcare, whatever it is. Which of the markets benefits me the most? You have to think about that. Where are the manufacturing hubs? Am I manufacturing? Where will I sell? This region, do they accept things like this? Because also if you're producing things that are not accepted in some regions because of maybe religion, tradition, culture, you have to factor in all of that. And as a small business, you also have to think, do you have strong competitors in that country? Or are the competitors people you're able to compete with? So you have to think about that. And usually we would advise that you should focus on 3 to 5 regions or jurisdictions, because if you want to do too much as a startup, I mean, startup means you're starting, right? It may just be too much, it may just be a lot of money that you're not able to afford. So start from Nigeria, the easiest low-hanging fruit. Register your intellectual property in Nigeria. When you grow a bit, when you start growing, you start getting investments, you're able to secure investments because you've registered an IP, then you can now identify maybe 3 more countries, 5 more countries that you want to expand to. For trademarks protection, like I said, Nigeria is not yet a member of the Madrid system, so you can't use the WIPO system to register in the 3 to 5 jurisdictions you have identified. But one thing we usually advise is if you have a partner, so for instance, if you're doing your business in Nigeria and you have a partner who is from Ghana or from South Africa, Ghana is a member of the Madrid system. South Africa is a member of the Madrid system. If you have a partner, a business partner who is based in any of the countries who are a member of the Madrid system, you can use that partnership to register using the WIPO platform. So sometimes we also encourage partnership in core countries that may benefit your business. For trademark, you also have to localize names. So you have to ensure that you are not mistranslating or giving negative meaning. For instance, I'll give you a very simple idea that is coming to my mind. If you want to, in Korea, there's a Korean word that says nigger. And nigger, I think, means I am or you are. But in Nigeria, or to a Black man, nigger is an insulting word. So if you're a Korean business and you're coming to Nigeria and your business name is called Nigger Care or Nigger Startup, I mean, that would not be very accepted. So the same applies to us Nigerian businesses. You want to scale to Ghana, you have to do your research. What does your business name means in Ghana? You want to scale to China, to Japan, to what if your business name is translated to Chinese, to Japanese, to Korean, to maybe Swahili? Does it mean something offensive? Does it mean something different that is not acceptable in that country? You have to factor all of those things in when you're expanding. And when you also are expanding, another tip we give is rebrand to fit the market. So now you're going into maybe Algeria, Morocco, those countries who speak Arabic. You're going to countries like Paris, France, countries who speak French. How do you rebrand and translate your products and your business name to fit the language they speak in that country? It also makes the product or the solution you're providing more acceptable than it is in the country you are coming from. And also file very early. So first to file is always a thing, not just in law, but also in IP. If you want to be protected in other countries, it's better to be as fast as possible. File early, even if you have not gone through the process. The moment you submit your filing and you have a file number, it means you started first. And whoever comes after you, you will still be prioritized, especially if it is not an IP that someone has already protected. For copyright, like I said, it is automatic, but we'll just encourage if you have a software, a code that you think you want to copyright, it's better you register it with the Nigerian Copyright Commission. So enforcement is also easy should anyone copy your code. And then for trade secrets, like I said, use non-disclosure agreements. Do not review any of your secrets to anyone. Do not review the code, do not review your processes, especially for the email marketing person. I don't know what the email marketing does, but you might have a solution or a process that makes email marketing more effective, faster than any other email marketers in the business. If you have such things and you want to engage with a lawyer, you want to engage with maybe advisors, you must always have a non-disclosure agreement, ensuring that whatever you're spilling to them, whatever you're telling them, they cannot disclose it to anyone else. And if they do disclose it, because you have a non-disclosure agreement, you can enforce a case against them in court. So please bear in mind, always have a non-disclosure agreement before you move on. So these are some strategies you could use in your businesses. And to learn more about what we do at WIPO, to learn more about intellectual property, and to even know if your business has any form of IP, these are some tools we have available. We have the WIPO Academy and their online learning, executive and advanced courses on IP. We have what we call the IP management clinics. If you have been a part of any of our business, if you have been a part of our community of intellectual property, you will notice that we always have projects, and those projects, we use the IP management clinic, and it's just really like a 4 months of training where we pair you with an expert, an intellectual property expert and a business expert. And what we do is for the duration of 4 months, these experts are continuously learning about your business and training you, giving you tailored advice, tailored recommendations on how to scale your business and how to grow using intellectual property. And we also have this IP diagnostic tool. And what this tool does is to help you show where your intellectual property is. So I really encourage everyone to use this tool after the class. So it just asks you some questions. What kind of business do you have? Yes, no. What are you selling? What are you doing? And then it helps you, just tells you what intellectual properties are available in your business as it is. We also have IP for business guides. We have publications that we try to say, okay, as businesses, these are the things you can do. We have a lot of IP awareness projects, like I said. Please follow us on LinkedIn. If you have not followed us, follow us online. We post a lot about our projects. And upcoming, we're also trying to have an IP training institute and an IP for business center. Once this center is launched, businesses can come into the center to get advice, to get training on intellectual property and now the scale. Like I said, one of the reasons why we are here in Nigeria is to continuously to continually talk about intellectual property awareness and to continue to help you to understand the importance of intellectual property. And now you can go about protecting. So that's it for me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Blessing, please let me know if I should take the questions now or you want to take the floor before we start the questions and answers.
Thank you very much, Olaronke. I've actually been able to learn a few things. So we'll be moving on to questions now. But before then, you mentioned something about you having an office where people can come in to ask questions and make inquiries. Is this in Lagos?
No, our office in Nigeria is in Abuja. The WIPO Nigeria office is located within the United Nations building in Abuja. So if you want to come, please feel free to come. And we are also launching the IP for Business Center soon. That center would also be able to accommodate businesses, startups that have questions about intellectual property. Once we launch that, you can also please feel free to come in at any time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sorry, before I move on to the questions, is it okay if we can get your slides after this session for people who were not able to make it to the class?
Yes,
okay.
I'm going to share the slide with you.
All right, one last thing, please. The diagnostic tool, can you help us share it in the chat box for those that might want to check it out now?
Okay, let me do that.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to raise up your hand, or if you can't speak, maybe you are in a noisy environment. Oh, we have a question already. Flemon, please give me a second. Oh, wow, man from space. All right, please feel free to raise up your hand, or if you can't speak at the moment, you can just, use the chat box to drop your questions and I'll take it one after the other. All right, so we have Sharon, but she's not on the call currently. So let me just put her currently on the call and then we proceed. All right, so Philemon, you have the floor. Please unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correct. Thank you, Famuyiwa. Right? Is that correct?
Yes, that's
yes.
Olaronke Famuyiwa. All right. Thank you for the presentation. That was amazing. So I joined the meeting late, but then I got a few things and I wanted to ask a question. Thank you for pointing out that Nigeria is not part of the Madrid system, because I think ChatGPT suggested to me a while back that I could expand our IP protection through the Madrid system. But my particular question is about a trademark registration. So supposing one has a trademark, a word mark registered in Nigeria, and another business is using a similar word mark, but there's a difference by one alphabet. So it sounds the same, it's pronounced the same, but towards the ending, there's a difference in one alphabet. Can the company with the trademark registration enforce their trademark and request the other company to not use the same, like that word mark?
In another country?
No, not same country. So
same country. Okay.
Yes.
So if it's the same country, the first thing you have to ask yourself is which class is the trademark? So when you want to do trademarks or word mark registration, there are different classes in the sense that, are you in the same business? So if your own business, they're in the same business. So that could sometimes pass as passing off. So you could have a case as passing off. So for instance, I'm not sure if any of you are seeing something that looks like Milo in the market before, but it isn't Milo. So in such a case, you can take up that case in court as passing off, because very similar logos, very similar colors, the same type of business, that cannot fly. So if they were in the different businesses, you can still let that go. But if you're in the same kind of business, you have a case on that. You can take up a case as this business is trying to pass off as you to your consumers, and that is very actionable. Yeah.
So the actual specific is that the same different logo, right? Different logo, the same business, the same kind of business, and the only difference is that there's no K in the other one, and there's K in the original trademark, the original wordmark.
It's too
But
close.
but
Yes.
they are both sounding the same spelling.
It's too close. Especially if it's pronounced the same even.
It's
It's too
pronounced the
close. It's too close. I think you can take up a case for passing off there. Yes. It's too close.
Okay. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for the clarification.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a long time now, and I'm like,
Yes, you should get a lawyer. One thing I really always advise businesses to do is get a lawyer at the very beginning. Sometimes you think it's too expensive, but these lawyers protect you and ensure that you get the best from your business. So this kind of instance where it is the same business, the same, it is really an actionable case. If you're in different businesses, different countries, different class of trademark, it's a completely different ball game. But if you're in the same thing, you should take up an action. But mind you, if you have not protected in that country, you can't take up an action. So you have already mentioned that you are registered, which is good. But for any other businesses here, if you are not registered and someone have the same name, the same logo with just a slight A or C in their name, you really don't have an action. Please note that. Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, the second one is that, so supposing a wordmark is registered, right? As long as that wordmark is registered by another company, no other person in Nigeria can use that same wordmark, even in combination with other names, right?
In combinations with other names,
Like
it may fly. Like you can say Ronke, Taiwo, and Kehinde as against Ronke. Those are those are very different,
okay,
right?
so
But if I say Ronke and then I put double E, and then I say Ronke 1E, like no, those are similar. Do you get?
okay, so Ronke Africa, right? And then Ronke, let's say Ronke is the main wordmark. So Ronke Africa, Ronke Global, right? So if someone has just Ronke as their trademark, no one can even create Ronke Global, right?
Oh no, you can create Ronke Global, you can create Ronke Africa. Those are different. But what you cannot create is say Ronke with one E and the Ronke with double E. That is very close. But Ronke Africa, Ronke Global, Ronke International, Ronke shoes, Ronke dresses, Ronke jewelries, those ones we fly.
They will fly even if Ronke has been registered as a wordmark.
Yes, it will. And I don't think they would even register Ronke for you because that's very generic. Do you get? So, like Ronke, what? You must be in a class of business. What do? You can't just say, I want to register Ronke because there are so many people who bears Ronke. Do you get? But what businesses? Because, sorry, another thing you have to know about trademarks is your name, whatever your name or whatever logo you're using cannot be so generic. It has to be very distinct. Do you get? So if you say Ronke phones, Ronke will fly for a phone because not a lot of people will name their phone Ronke. Why Apple has been registered for a phone is because when you say Apple, you usually think an apple, a fruit. But if you have an Apple business now where you sell the apple fruit, you can't register that apple as a trademark for that apple. Do you get my point? It's not possible because there's nothing distinct about it for that business. Do you get? So for you to register an apple, that's for a business, it must be so distinct, it must be so distinct. You must be able to say that, okay, when I think of an apple, I'm not thinking of a phone. Do you get? But if you have an apple business and then you just say you want to register an apple, that will not fly. They wouldn't register that for you because there are so many like anybody can have an apple, anybody can use an apple. Do you get? But if you register an apple for a shoe, you register an apple for a phone, as obviously we have seen, that flies.
Okay, so if that trademark is accepted, that wordmark, sorry, if it's accepted, right, and someone else comes in the future to register that wordmark space another name, will that also fly? Will that be accepted?
If face another, what do you mean by face another name?
It's
Sorry.
space, so they're not together.
Okay, space another name.
Space,
yes, it will be.
It will fly.
Yes, you can do that.
So the reason why I'm asking is because I don't want to register a wordmark and then sometime in the future, someone else decides to use that same wordmark to create another name and be able to register it as their own wordmark.
So if they're going to so for instance, if you register Philemon apples or Philemon bananas, the next person cannot register Philemon bananas or Philemon apple. So they probably will say Philemon Technology or Philemon Technology Limited or Philemon group of companies or something. There will be a difference between what you have registered and what they have registered. There is no way that the trademarks registry, they have a registry of all the trademarks in Nigeria. If your name, and if you've registered a name and someone else brings something that is similar to yours that they think will cause confusion, they will not accept it. Because before every registration also, they do their search, they do their own research to accept it. So they would not accept it, especially if you're in the same class of business. If you're in different classes of business, it most likely will not even be an issue. It won't be an issue. But if you're in the same class of business and you've registered Philemon Technology Limited and someone is coming to register Philemon Tech Limited, then that's confusion. Do you get? They wouldn't accept that. So you also have to bear in mind that the registries, before they accept your registration, they have a very full database of all the trademarks in Nigeria. They will do a very thorough search before they accept the next person that is coming after you. If they think that it will cause a problem, they will not register it. And also you too, as a business, another tips you should bear in mind is you should maintain your intellectual property. You should monitor your intellectual property, chase it. So as Philemon Technologies Limited, you've registered it. You can, from time to time, check the trademarks registry, check the data, public data of people who are trying to file for a trademarks. If you see that there's any trademarks that is about to be filed or that has even already been filed that you think will cause your own business a problem, that may passes off your own business and you're in the same business, you can take up a case. You can petition that, you can file that the registry should not approve such a name. So things like that are also allowed. Even for patents, if you create an invention and someone else feels like they've already created the invention and it's probably similar to theirs, you can petition it, you can appeal. Do you get? So it's not like it's automatic that, oh, I want to register and no one can appeal. Even you as a business, before you can do Philemon Technologies Limited, you must have gotten a lawyer who has done a search. Because if Philemon Technology or Philemon Tech has been registered before, the person that has registered it before you can file a petition that your own registration should not be approved. Do you get? So you really don't have to be worried about that. When you file to the registries, they do a search. If there's something in the same business that may cause confusion, it will not be accepted. You as a business owner, monitor your IP consistently, maybe every quarter, every 4 months, check to see if there aren't any businesses that are trying to register or already registered and have copied you. Those cases very, 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 very not common for the registry to register two similar things that they think will cause confusion. But you yourself, you can check and say, okay, I want to appeal this registration. I think it shouldn't be registered because it will cause a problem for my consumer. Because we are in the same business, we do the same clients, especially if you have the same clientele, we have the same clients, and I do not want this to register. They will take up your case. There's the arbitration tribunal that can listen to you. They will listen to you. And if they think that this is true, they will not approve it. So there's due diligence on your part, and there's also due diligence on the part of the registries.
Okay. Thank you very much, Famuyiwa. That was insight.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So next person we're bringing up on board is Man from Space. All right, you have the floor, Man from Space. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think this I really appreciate it a lot because it came at the right time. I just found out that what we've been doing for like 2 years now, we've been building a product, and we just realized that a company that just came up, we're supposed to trademark the name. We just realized that a company that just came up just did the trademark, and then we are left blank. Like, I'm very disappointed right now.
Sorry, we can't hear you very well. It's muffled. Please, can you help us check it?
So I got his question.
I got his question too.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
better
really
now.
disappointed because can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you guys
Yes,
hear me?
yes.
Okay, so I'm very disappointed. I'm thinking of, should I change the name, or should I search for, is there the possibility of registering for another class? But the thing is, the our legal representative we contacted said is not available. Like, they've contacted like 3 different um agencies to see if we can get it, and I don't want to register with the name. I don't know, I'm just very, very confused right now. And
Hmm. Hmm. I'm so sorry about that. And this is what we usually say. First thing first, trademark. Once you have a name, because the business is the name. If someone came today and say Paystack or Money Points, that's the business. So first, before the services they provide, the name is like their assets. Do you get? So nobody can just be using Paystack anyhow. So first thing first, please, other businesses online, please try and learn from this. First thing first, if there's a very unique name, a very unique brand, a one-liner that you love so much or you got inspiration from. Sometimes these names are very creative. They are innovative themselves. Please try as much as possible to do your trademark, because I'm sorry, man from Spain, but there's nothing you can do right now. They have protected it. There's nothing you can do. Maybe what you could have done before they even get the certificate of trademark is to say, oh, I've been using this trademark for a while, but I've not had the time to register. But like the law says, equity, like first come first serve. Like that's why I said file very early. Like
yeah,
you
sure,
can't
I understand
do
that.
anything. And I don't know when you said, can I file in another class? I really don't know what your business is about. But if you file in another class, are you doing the same type of business in another class? If you're doing the same type of business, it still may be very tricky. So
Yeah,
what we save you, or what may save you, if you're in different type of businesses. Maybe they are in the food business, you are in the technology business. But if you're both in the tech space, I really don't see how that may just
that's gonna scale.
how that will go. So really sorry about that. But again, maybe I could say that if you have another business name, file away right away before someone else takes
Sure,
it. Yeah.
all right, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you very much, man from space. Thank you very much, Famuyiwa. So the next person on my list is Emmanuel, and then we'll move on to Ezekiel. Emmanuel, please, you can unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Blessing. Hi, Famuyiwa. Thank you again for a wonderful presentation. I'm Emmanuel, and I'm the one building the email delivery service. And my
Okay.
question, yeah, so my question in particular is, as the product I'm building is essentially a software solution, when it comes to market expansion, what impact does it have on my ability to sell to companies or customers in other countries? Like, having an IP, does it limit me in any way? Because, maybe I'm not trademarked in that country, or I don't have any form of legal identity within our country, even though I'm registered as a business in Nigeria. So I think that's the primary question. And then the second question is, what expansion move would you say necessitates the registration of a trademark in such countries for a strictly software solution?
Hmm. I think thank you very much, Emmanuel. I think the first thing I should say is whether your business is online or offline, it changes nothing. It changes absolutely nothing. You still need IP protection, because you have said that you are you work online and then you want to expand to another country, but you have a business name, right? The
Yeah.
email marketing has a business name. Yes. So that on its own is a brand. That's a trademark. That's an IP. You have a process of doing this business, right? I don't know what you're doing differently in your email marketing, but let me assume you're doing something differently that may benefit these other countries you're going through, right? Someone can hack into your system today and get to know about that process and take it away. Or someone within your business, the employees you have, can talk about those process to someone else and take it away, right? And then someone else starts using it, whether online or physical. intellectual property is needed, because you're, in fact, even more online than physical, because online things go very far away right now, like things goes very far and wide. So as an online business, you just need to tell yourself, if they stole my idea or my business name or my brand name, my logo in these countries, which one will pay me the most? Because of course you can't protect yourself in all the 195 or maybe almost 200 countries in the world, right? Which is why we're saying that you look at the markets, you prioritize your markets. As an online business owner, which countries do I think, if I am my idea, my brand name, this email marketing solution that is going global, if they stole it in this country, will I lose the most money? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like weighing a scale. If you lost this, if you lost something in America and you lost something like a smaller country. So I would advise, even for online businesses, register your brand name, register your trademarks, your wordmark, whatever it is, in the countries you think you want to expand into, no matter what it is, even if it's 1 or 2 countries you want to expand into, for your type of business, which countries do you make the most money? Which countries do you think, if you lose this opportunity, it will hurt your business the most? Then protect yourself there. Being online changes nothing about intellectual property, even more important for online businesses. And your second question, you said market expansion strategies for online businesses. Is that what you said?
I said, okay. So
I
for
think I
me, it's like,
answered it already. Okay.
yeah, you did answer the first question. So to me,
Okay.
it's like I was coming in with the mindset that it may not be 100% necessary, right, as a software solution to have a legal presence in. Again, the justification for that thought process, because okay, maybe companies that are franchising in that are setting up physical locations in other places, and like people are directly interacting with the physical product or interacting with the
Yeah.
brand, versus you selling to other businesses, not even consumers directly, in that kind of scenario, right? That was where I was coming from. I was like, okay, there's still some level of playing it safe that you can go on for till you generate enough revenue to actually register in all of those countries. So you could play it safe for a while and then like do it there. But in that kind of scenario where there is what move would you say a software solution company would be making that they don't even have to think about, okay, they have this amount of buffer time before they register, that they absolutely must register before they can do that action in that country?
Maybe the non-disclosure agreement.
Okay.
Again, when you are reaching out to these businesses, when you're setting up your business in other, you're licensing that software to other companies, you just sign a non-disclosure agreement to say that they cannot disclose what you have
Okay.
licensed to them. But most importantly, try and register before it gets there,
100%,
because
100%. I totally agree with
all right.
your answer. Thank you.
Right.
Me too. I agree with it. Thank you very much. Emmanuel and Mom from Space, please help us put your hand down so that
Okay.
I can see the other people. Okay, all right. Moving on quickly, we have Ezekiel. Ezekiel, please feel free to ask your question.
Mine is closely tied to Emmanuel's own. So mine is I'm in process of scaling now. So in process of scaling to other countries, some of these is trademark now. Somebody could easily use something like a logo, have it trademarked in another country where you are not where you have not yet expanded to. And trademark is part of your own signature. So how do you navigate that when you are trying to expand, scale into that country? Because you can't
That's
change your logo.
Mm-mm. There's no navigating it. Like we said from the beginning, intellectual property is territorial. Once you lose that market, you have lost it. You cannot use that logo in that country. You have to probably use another logo for that country. Or in my thinking, my business sense, you can partner with them, but you do not have a remedy, because it's like a foreigner coming to Nigeria and says that I have this logo that I was using in my company, but Ezekiel has registered it in Nigeria. What can I do? That's not acceptable. IP is territorial. You're only protected in the countries you have registered. The moment you lose the market, is gone. A very good example, one of the businesses we used to work on in one of our projects, she has a coffee business in Nigeria, thriving, beautiful colors, designs, and logo. But she got to Ghana one day and realized she was trying to expand into Ghana. And she got to Ghana and realized that there's the exact same brand, same logo, same color, same name of business in Ghana. There's nothing she can do. It's too late, which is why I say again, identify the countries you want to expand into from the very beginning for your type of business. Which countries will it hurt my business the most if I am not protected there, and protect? There's no remedy once you've lost that market.
Um, uh, and if you will not be entering the market now, for example, for patents now, where you say mentioned that we can use have this protection from WIPO. So is it basically the same thing as long as we've not registered presence in those countries?
What do you mean by that? Sorry, can
Now,
you? Okay.
you mentioned something about WIPO earlier that helps to cover your identity in your trademark your patents in
Patent,
some of
yeah.
all this. Yeah. So now, if you've not officially expanded into some of all these other countries, is it possible that it is retained for you since you already have it in one of the member countries?
No, you still have to kickstart a filing process, which is why I said first to file applies in some jurisdiction. So for instance, you've registered in Nigeria. Before you can even use WIPO process, you have to first be registered in a country, in a national country,
Yeah.
right? Once you're registered in that national country, you can start a process in WIPO. You have a file number. So first to file applies in some jurisdiction. And if someone else files after you, they check the date that you filed yours, and they'll be like, okay, this person filed first, even if you have not gotten through, see the process till the end, but you have filed a process. Do you get? But if you haven't filed, I don't see a possibility. The only solution again may be if you're in different classes of trademarks, different types of businesses. Do you get? That
Yeah.
would be a solution.
And is there a limit to how long you can file without necessarily going through?
No, you have to go through. For WIPO, I think we have a 30 months period. So that's one of the reasons why people use the WIPO system. It's very fast. There's a time limit for every step. So filing has a time, examination has a time. So like you say, 30 days for this, 30 days for this, 30 days for that. And then it moves fast like that. So I don't think for patent also, there's a time where you're in the public disclosure phase where you are talking about the things you want to do. You can use that to kill some time, but that would really apply in national when you are in the territory. Do you get? When you are registering in Nigeria. But once you want to scale, for most WIPO processes, there are time to everything. And when you want to scale using WIPO process, it is assumed, not even assumed, it is supposed to be that you have already done the national registration in your country. Do you get? So all the time you had to put it in the public domain, put your articles online and all of that, you've done it in your national. You can't want to scale and then still do it. No, it would not work.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Ezekiel, is that all from you?
Yeah, that was all from me.
Okay, thank you. I just saw Folari's comment. Said this is similar to what happened between Zap and Paystack early this year. Interesting. Okay, we have one more person. Jay, please go ahead with your question as we begin to wrap up. Jay, are you there? Okay, while we wait for Jay, let me just take one of the questions that we have in the comments, in the chat box. Okay, from Folari, he said, I think we've answered this. He said, I'm a first-time founder that wants to scale in Q1 2026. Are there any common mistakes to avoid? I think we've already touched down on this already. So let me just quickly move on. Yes, let me quickly move on to Sharon. She said, how different are IP laws between regions like East Africa, UK, US, and Canada?
Mostly similar, but what's usually different is one, the number of years you have for protection and the cost. But like I said, there's the minimum standard that international organizations like the World Trade Organization as laid down in the TRIPS agreement. And those minimums, like this UK, US, most countries are part of the WTO. So they all follow this minimum standard. So the slight difference is sometimes maybe the years of protection, the cost of protection, or maybe some criteria that they may say you need to put in place. Some country will say you need to have been using your trademarks before you can protect it. Some country will say, oh, you can intend to use your trademark before you can protect it. So there are just very little differences that are not so significant, but are also very important and key to your businesses. So.
All right, thank you. I think I have just one very simple question.
Okay.
After this session, is there like maybe a customer support or client support that people can reach out to if they have questions, you know?
In
And
WIPO?
yes, in WIPO.
Yes, you can. It depends on what form of IP you want to talk about. If it's the patent, we have the patent customer support. If it's the Madrid, we have the Madrid custom. For the different types of IP, we have different customer support. So I can either drop all of them for you, or
Yeah.
whichever one they're interested in, we can send that to them.
Okay, is there like an email we can reach out to, or maybe like a website or something?
Yes. So for the website, for the emails, I'll drop them to you, Blessing, then you can share to everyone.
Okay, all right. Let me quickly take on Joba's. Joba, do you want to ask your question yourself, or should I go ahead and do that?
You can read it out so that we don't take time.
Okay, let me quickly read it out. Joba is asking, he said, since trade secrets are to just remain in the mind, how can one enforce a trade secret in case there is any breach?
In case there's any breach, you can take up a case, because of course I'm trying to assume how there will be a breach. Maybe, for instance, someone disclosed Coca-Cola secret now to the world. Of course, you can file for damages, you can file for so many things, breach of contracts, breach of trust. There's so many legal actions that you can file for. But I haven't seen in really instances that there's actually a trade secret. I haven't seen common cases where there's a breach and then someone gets it out. Because once it gets out, I mean, the criteria for trade secrets are very specific. Limited number of people must know this. So if within those limited number of people, someone snitches, then you can have you can take up a legal case in different forms, breach of trust, file for damages, because they're damaging your business. You will lose a lot of money. If someone finds out Coca-Cola recipe today, that's gone. So you really have remedies that you can take up in court for.
All right, thank you very much. Jay, do you want to ask your question as we bring the session to a close? Okay, you're saying something. Sorry.
No, so I saw another Jobber questions about what is the determinant of new. I mean, it's invent.
Okay.
I think I mentioned that is new. Like we all know what is new. It's non-obvious. It's an invention that is non-obvious. It's an invention that is pretty much, it's a solution that no one has done before. As straightforward and as simple as that. So you can't say you want to create a phone now. It's not a solution that's known. But if I say going forward, everybody have their phone on their palm, you don't need to hold anything once. You just say, how far you go. I mean, that's crazy. That's new. It's not obvious yet. So that could possibly new. Thank you. Sorry, Jay, you can continue. Sorry for cutting you.
Jay, are you on the call? And your hands are still raised.
I don't think he's still on the call, so I might have to run soon. So if we can.
Yeah.
Is it me? I'm here.
Oh, who is that? Sorry.
You know what? I think we can just
Me, I'm here.
as many questions can just send it to the collective, the group chat through Blessing. And of course, we have direct access to Ronke. She'll definitely be happy to, I believe she'll be happy to answer those questions over email, so we don't take more time. Yeah. Okay, Blessing, you can just go ahead to close it out for us. Do you need? Yeah.
All right. I think we're already done with this session. I just want to say a very big thank you to you, Famuyiwa. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. And I must say this was really an eye-opener for me and for a whole lot of us here on the call. from the questions every other person asks to the clarity we've been able to get so far. I just want to say thank you so much for your time. And if we want to reach out to you, do we connect to you on LinkedIn or your email?
Yes.
Or
Anywhere, connect anywhere you want. If you find me, my name is Olaronke Famuyiwa, almost all my social media pages. So you can connect, you can send me a DM, you can send, I think I'm sorry, I'm no longer sharing my screen, but I'll drop my email address now. You can also reach out via email. And for Blessing, I would just, you can remind me of everything I need to send, and then I'll just forward them to you. Anyone can also reach out for personal questions if they want to. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And can we just unmute our mics to say a very big thank you to Famuyiwa? Just saying thank you as we wrap up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Famuyiwa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for your time and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
Bye
Bye.
for now. Bye.